Well, hello and welcome to edition fourth of Content Labs. Nissan, we have made it to edition four. How do you feel about that?
We keep coming back. So it looks like we are liking it, and we'll continue do that. So yeah, I'm enjoying making them.
Most importantly, are the listeners and our readers liking it? So we need to know. So, give us some feedback. You can, send us some hate mail if you want. Anything. We'll take any feedback that you listeners and readers can provide, and watchers, I guess. So anyway, okay, Nisam. So what is new in the SEO and content world? Where do you want to talk about first?
Awesome. So I'm going to start with something that is always, something that very nervous. Every SEO gets nervous about this one whenever we see an algorithm update. And I mean, if you are obviously producing good content, your site is following all the best practices by Google, we shouldn't worry about it, but still we do because we're human at the end of the day. There was an unconfirmed algorithm update by Google or Google's algorithm updates on June 14th. Quite a lot of SEOs talked about this. Barry also mentioned it in a couple of his posts as well. Quite a few people that I follow, I've noticed that their sites are seeing fluctuation. So I went through some of the tools or platform that tracks algorithm updates. So Rank Ranger, their algorithm updates sensor, or the fluctuation they see, the volatility. They've seen some ups and down. To be honest, our site, the car content site, I've seen some ups and down in some of the rankings and some of the traffics as well. So overall, it looks like it is making some noise, but I don't think it's a big one. I feel like it's probably something they're picking back to the one that they had in March and April. So they had two major core updates, and March one was core updates. So this update could be something related to that. Again, this is unconfirmed, so it could also be just like a little change here and there, and nothing significant, but something that are we seeing. Any thoughts on that? Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah. they're always they're always updating the algorithm. So I love to see how SEOs are always kind of in the lookout for any changes. I think Google is always updating the algorithm anyway. I think it's just easier to not pay attention to any updates and just do the right things on your content strategy and your SEO strategy, so you don't have to worry about changes that much, right? If you're doing the right fundamentals on your strategy, it should rely less on these, or worry less about these updates improving or hurting your ranking. So that's just
Mhm.
my 2 cents. So in other news, Google's perspectives search menu filter is now live in mobile in the US. So Google's launched perspectives kind of quietly, and I haven't heard that much noise about it. But I think perspectives is going to be huge. We should be paying attention to it. So now, if you are in the US and you're using Google search on your mobile device, you'll see the option for perspectives, similar to how you see the options for images or video, etc. You're going to see the option for perspectives, and Google is going to bring up, experts in the field of the topic that you're looking for. So if you're searching for restaurants, they'll surface a video of somebody that is producing a lot of content about restaurants in that area that you're looking for, and it'll bring again videos or posts in Reddit, things like that. So I think this is going to be a huge feature, and I feel that people are not giving it enough attention. So if you're listening, you should start thinking about it and how to incorporate perspectives into your SEO strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of always sad about this. Like every time there is an update, they always release it to the US market, which makes sense. I mean, it's their primary market, but we're literally next door. Literally, like
Being
we just
Canadians,
walk
yeah,
through the border.
with the neighbors. Yeah, I don't know. Our market is not big enough for them to.
I mean, that is the second largest country. That's interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, Google perspectives, very, very. We should pay attention, see how it evolves.
Yeah, and with in relation to the Google perspectives, the Google the Google new experience, search experience, They are taking information from Google My Business profile, so photos and reviews, mostly photos. They're picking photos from Google My Business listing, which is very interesting, because those are the photos that, as a owner or verified business, we publish, and also the reviewer. So sometimes your audience, your customers, they are also taking photos of your either business or product or services, and they're publishing them, or just like including them as part of the reviews, and including them as well. So which is also being picked up by Google, which I found it very interesting, because when I was thinking about like that, Google perspective, there has to be some mechanism of how Google is going to verify those information. Obviously, is my content popular? How would they know? At the end of the day, Google is an algorithm. It's not a human being. They wouldn't know that I'm famous, or who I am, or I'm not a famous person. But how would they verify that? So I feel like at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of like, not an algorithm, ranking factors, but some factors. So i.e., the comments on social media, if they're picking from social media or Reddit post, how many comments or engagement they're getting. For Google My Business, if the reviews are good, probably they'll pick those in relation to the result they're picking, they're providing, which I feel like it's the beginning of enhancing the overall search experience, and including the perspective that Google is picking, or the photos that they're picking from Google My Business profile.
Absolutely. So if you have a small business or if you're in Google My Business, it's very important that you have photos and reviews, but the reviews have to be truthful. So I don't know if you saw, Nisam, but Google just filed a suit against a bad actor that polished 350 sites and created 14,000 fake reviews. So I think, and actually Google published it. It went public with this, and pretty much they're saying they're clamping down on these kind of tactics to game the system. So this guy was spamming or just creating all these fake reviews to boost traffic for these businesses, which, it's just bad. Like, don't buy reviews, don't get fake reviews, just get honest reviews. Yes, it's hard work, but it will pay out in the long run. So yeah, Google takes into account all these reviews, and Google is very serious about it, and they will confirm and double check the reviews. They'll call some of the reviewers. I know this because I've been checking into LSA, Google local service apps recently, and they have background checks. They check on their reviews, so you make sure your reviews are original and are truthful and are genuine. And I think again, Google made this public so to make an example of and you definitely don't want probably one of the richest corporation in the world coming after you legally because they have more money than God. So yeah, on the spam or on the bad content topic, now also Google released a new form to report spam or low quality content. So this is great for the snitches. If you want to snitch on a bad site that you think is spammy or very low quality, there's a new form that you can submit to Google, and probably Google will review each case. So you can post the URL of site that you think is just pretty much spam or low quality, has low quality content in it, and you can submit to Google. So again, in the same trend, getting rid of just the junk on the internet, getting rid of bad reviews, getting rid of low quality content.
The interesting thing about the the spam report options at the form, I feel like this is probably very high on demand features that everyone was looking for. My two cents would be like, how do you control the submission that you get? I'm feeling lots of people will try to kind of abuse this. Obviously, they have their criteria to pick and choose, how they handle this. What is interesting about the form, I was just like, going through the forms, and as part of the second step, which I'll also include in the screenshot in the video, like the category, something scrape content, automatically generated content, which is pretty awesome. Although they said they're okay with AI, but like, AI content, but like, that they have a category that you can actually submit an URL if they are producing content through AI without any editing or anything else, like, adding literally adding value to the content, which is very interesting. Keyword stuffing, and then the hacked pages, user generated spam. Those are the few categories that I've seen in there, which is very interesting in the form that
Yeah,
Google actually said that.
we'll see how Google is going to filter that out, but I trust that they'll do a decent job of that. But anyway, if you come across any spam site, you can submit it now to Google for review. All right. And I want to, so this one is pretty cool. So now with SGE, you can, there's a feature of add to sheets. So if you're, let's say, if you're organizing a road trip and you're asking Google and SGE, okay, I want to organize a road trip down to the southern US and I want to do all these things, it'll bring few links and then you can add to sheets. So instead of having to copy and then create a new file on Google Sheets and then copy and paste, you can now automatically add the link to a sheet. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty efficient if you are organizing a road trip or if you're comparing, I don't know, prices on something, you can just have a few links sent to a Google Sheet automatically. So I think that was a pretty cool feature.
I'm sure you have all seen notification errors about Google could not determine the prominent video on the page. So sometimes those errors comes when you have videos on your website or pages. So they are moving away from this. So you will see lesser notification like this, but you will see more relevant notification, i.e. your video is outside the viewport. Make sure that you have responsive option added for your video if you add the video on your web page. But then if you don't, Google Search Console is going to pick that up and now going to show you errors related to your videos. Like video could be too small or too large. It doesn't fit in the screen, which I feel like it's very interesting changes that they're making in terms of video. So again, nowadays videos are becoming more and more popular content type. You see us making quite a lot of videos. You see quite a lot of videos Carlos puts out there. So I feel like there was no alternative of making videos, and I think these updates is going to help SEOs specifically to optimize the videos for search going forward.
Okay, so on the AI front, so Bing AI voice chat comes to desktop. When I saw it, I couldn't help but think, wasn't Cortana supposed to be that many years ago? Do you even know what Cortana is? Like, that AI assistant that Windows had by default, but really nobody uses it. I never known anybody that uses it. But anyway, Bing AI voice search is now available on PC, which means it was already available on mobile, but they brought it to PC as well to improve the user experience. I think pretty cool. Bing continues to invest in the product. Microsoft continues to push AI and Bing. So we'll see where the search engine wars takes us. But this was pretty cool.
Yeah, on the Bing front, there was another update. They're going all in. I think last week of the week, the last episode of the week episode before we talked about the Android apps. So Bing Chat is available on Android apps now. They have released the iOS widget as well for Bing Chat, which also is interesting one. They're putting more money and investment into the whole AI and making it more I guess available for every single user. And I remember again me being ranting about why Google is not releasing the new features to everyone. Bing did that. Bing actually opened up their list. You can actually submit the waiting list wherever you are from, so you could be included in the waiting list. But yeah, that was a very interesting point as well.
Yeah, well, on that point of making SGE available or features available, so now Google has delayed the launch of SGE in Europe, in the European Union, and mostly because of privacy. Europe is really stringent around privacy, GDPR, everything. So there's a lot of regulatory hoops that they have to jump through before they're able to release it. So sorry, my friends in Europe, but you won't be able to use SE just yet. It's going to take them a few more months until they get all their regulatory approvals, or cross all the T's and dot all the I's before they can release SGE there. So we got to keep waiting in Europe.
And last update from me from the news side. I'm sure you have seen the video. If you haven't, this is the summary or the key points that I have from Google SEO Hour. They do every other week, roughly, depending on the availability. So a couple of things that stood out to me. One is that there is no indexing limit. So if you think that Google will index, let's say if you have thousands of pages, Google index like 800, 700, there's no limit. So they just confirmed that there is no limit. If you have quality content, they will index all the pages regardless of the number. Also, the other interesting one that they have talked about, which is there was a question about like why Google's reach result is different than schema or validator. So they sometimes you might see error related to your structured data in Google reach result test that are errors not being picked by any other tool, any other structured data testing tool. And what they said actually makes sense, because structured schema org is more of like an open source platform. It's available to everyone, and the way Google validated this structured data, they have their own way of qualifying the data that you're providing with your site, with your pages. So make sure, if I were you, I would definitely follow what Google's reach results test telling you, because again, at the end of the day, you are trying to use the structured data to show up in Google's search SERP, or any features that you're trying to tell Google, or any other data that you're trying to tell Google through your structured data. So follow their result. And the last one is the links from non-English site to English language site. So if you have links coming from multiple non-English site to your site, that's okay. If that just says like you producing quality content, and there is no negative impact of that in terms of SEO, unless someone is spamming it. So follow-up question was like, if let's say you create multiple sites to kind of mimic your site and then link back to your site, again, those are like going into like black hat SEO and spamming your backlink strategy. Definitely don't do that. But as long as your backlinks make sense, it should be fine. But at the end of the day, like Google is smart enough to understand the contextual context of the backlinks, and how the actual site owner is linking back to your site, which wouldn't impact your SEO or your backlinks at all.
All right. Well, that's pretty technical, my friend. Very helpful. Anything else that I want to tell our listeners?
No, I think that covers quite a lot. I mean, we took a 2 weeks pause, and now there's a lot like happened last 2 weeks. But I think we covered almost all the major ones that we wanted to cover.
Well, that was a mouthful. So we had plenty. So maybe we go back to weekly cadence and see how it goes. See if people get sick of us or not.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Until next one.